Prime Minister Stephen Harper is scheduled to visit Vancouver Island tomorrow. He is set to tour the island university's Centre for Shellfish Research at Deep Bay. After that, he is expected in the harbour city to make an announcement at Nanaimo's cruise ship berth at 3 o'clock. The Prime Minister's entourage then moves on to Victoria with an announcement expected at 6 at Royal Roads University. We'll be there. Canada's Defence Minister was on the island today. He visited CFB Comox to announce funding for the base. Some had been hoping the announcement would include plans to replace the aging Buffalo search and rescue aircraft, or perhaps the additional personnel that the Prime Minister promised 5 years ago. Instead, Peter Mckay touched down to mark the start of construction, a new $30 million health facility at CFB Comox. Gord Kerbis was there.
Heavy machinery digs into the ground at a construction site at 19-wing Comox. It's start of a $27 million health facility being built at the base. The federal government says the total being spent here on infrastructure will be $30 million.
And we want to ensure that you have the equipment, the infrastructure, the training, and the tools necessary to do the important work that we ask of you.
Defense Minister Peter Mckay made the announcement this morning in front of invited dignitaries and assembled base personnel. The spending had actually previously been announced at the base quite some time ago, but today's opportunity allowed for groundbreaking photos.
This base strategically carries huge responsibilities for the Canadian Forces and, by extension, all Canadians.
Even though the funding isn't new, the money being spent for the medical and dental services building is a welcome addition to the community.
As the minister said, employs 1,000 military personnel and 300 civilians, and a number of those live in our community and use our facilities, and it's nice to see them upgrading theirs.
Mckay also says he understands the importance of investing in new technology to keep the Canadian Forces up to date. Earlier this summer, he announced a plan to replace CF-18s with F-35s. Aircraft, he says, are the most advanced in the world. But so far at this point, the list of new equipment does not include the replacement of the aging Buffalo. But Mckay says the government is working on it.
We have Public Works, Industry Canada, as well as the Department of National Defence, all working closely together. And with those three departments, I believe we're going to get a result very soon.
Another initiative plan for the base is also not in the foreseeable future. Back in December of 2005, Stephen Harper came to the Comox Valley announcing his new Canada First defense strategy. At that point, Harper promised 750 additional personnel for the base. 100 would be used to operate and maintain unmanned surveillance vehicles. And 650 personnel would be here but could be rapidly deployed to handle natural disasters.
We saw the snowstorm in Toronto or the floods in New Orleans, for example. We've seen that often. The military is only the military that has the true range of capacities to respond to these kinds of disasters.
But today, Mckay says right now those personnel are needed elsewhere.
With the high tempo and the rotations that we've had going into Afghanistan, that has been our focus. So, in short, there's been no decision taken as yet in terms of upping personnel.
After this morning's event, Mckay was headed down island for further announcements. He'll be joined by his boss, Stephen Harper, who arrives on the island tomorrow. At 19-wing Comox, Gord Kerbis, A News.